All right. I'm here with Leo Grady, the founder and CEO of Jona.
Hey, Sudanita. Great to be here.
First of all, what is Jona? What was the inspiration behind it? And tell us about your company.
Yeah, Jona is an AI company that's focused on the gut microbiome. And what's so excited about the gut microbiome is that every aspect of our health has been linked to the microbiome. So it's not just gut health, it's skin disease, it's obesity, it's mental health, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, even cancer has all been linked with the gut microbiome. But the challenge with it is that it's super complex. You've got 30 trillion organisms that live in your gut. They change dynamically over time. And every single month, you have more than 2,000 studies published on the microbiome in PubMed. So nobody can read all of these studies
Totally.
or really kind of comprehend this complex data. So what we did is we built an AI system to read all of those studies, more than 200,000 studies. We offer a gut microbiome test. So it's a stool sample, sent off to the lab, and then we measure all of the organisms that are in your gut down to a strain level. And then the AI matches all of the different organisms that are found in your gut specifically to every study ever published. And then we can say for you, your microbiome fits the profile of everything from bloating and fatigue and brain fog all the way to depression or psoriasis or Crohn's disease or even cancer. Then we go a step further. The AI reads the interventional literature on how you can change your microbiome with diet, lifestyle, supplements. And we actually make a digital twin of your gut and we simulate like what happens if you go vegan. Right. And we know
Mm.
from all the science how going vegan changes your gut microbiome. So we can apply that change digitally and make like a virtual vegan Sunita and then like a keto Sunita and a gluten-free Sunita. And basically digitally, virtually, we can try all of these different dietary changes, lifestyle changes, supplements, and figure out on a personal scientific basis like what's actually going to work best for you.
Amazing. Like how much time can somebody save and how much, effort can you save in actually being able to simulate those things rather than spending months trying each of these different diets out or figuring out, there's so much like throwing spaghetti at the wall, I feel like, when it comes to testing things that work for your gut microbiome. So this is huge.
Yeah, as you know, a lot of people do elimination diets. They just try like trial and error more or less for a long time to try to figure something out. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But if we can actually look at your gut, look at all of the science, and figure out on a personalized basis what's going to work for you, you can get to the answer right away without having to do months and months of elimination diets.
Tell me how you see Jona being woven into somebody's health journey and why, for clinicians, it also seems like there's a really great opportunity to provide a more like engaging experience using something like Jona.
When clinicians use Jonah, what it allows them to do is, first of all, because we're doing broad genomic sequencing, we identify every parasite, every pathogen. So it's a really wide panel compared
Right.
to your typical PCR test. So you can find extremely rare or surprising pathogens and parasites in somebody's gut that wouldn't be picked up on like one of the more classical conventional tests. But then secondly, because we can say, hey, the organisms in this person's gut are linked with chronic fatigue syndrome, or they're linked with liver disease, or they're linked with IBS or Crohn's, it gives the doctor something to go on in order to really narrow down like non-specific symptoms to really drill into a diagnosis. And then third, what we were talking about before, you know, instead of giving somebody an elimination diet or like a one size fits all, like low FODMAP diet or Mediterranean diet, it allows the clinician to see what's going on in that person's biology and really give them dietary lifestyle supplement recommendations that are tailored to them that can ultimately help their patient get better faster.
Because I feel like one of the hardest things as a consumer navigating like the questions, every day there's new guidance on what you're
Right.
supposed to do, and every day there's new studies. And how does your system navigate that inflow of new information?
So it's constantly reading all of the new studies that come out. Like I said, it's more than 2,000 studies a month
Yeah,
in
it's
PubMed.
crazy.
And it's incorporating that into your results. And so it'll update your results with the latest information as more research comes out. However, the AI is only looking at certain types of studies. It's only looking at peer-reviewed studies, only looking at studies in credible journals based
Mm,
on human subjects age 5 and older, where we're using modern sequencing techniques. And then
okay.
each of those studies is also given a quality score based on the size of the study and the quality of the journal it's published in. And so when the AI is analyzing your microbiome, it's taking into account those quality scores as well as excluding sort of the non-relevant studies to really give you the most pertinent information. I think a lot of what I see like on social media or in different talks is somebody will take like a mouse study and they'll equate that with a finding in like a human study, and you don't really know like what to believe.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why having an AI read all of the studies and really systematically combine them in a way that helps you understand your own biology is really what allows you to know like what you can trust, what you can't. And then of course the AI also traces back to all of the source material. So if you actually want to go read the source studies, it's all there for you.
Really powerful. I think in terms of like how clinicians can give roadmaps to their patients, or how just as a patient you have a roadmap for what's possible with your health and what directions things could go. The digital twin concept is going to be so helpful, and I think we're going to see more and more of it coming out. But you guys have really built, I think, a very powerful, accurate digital twin concept that's adding value right now. So that's super cool to see that. Like, tell me what you think about this whole field of longevity and functional medicine. And so tell me what you've seen, from building in this space for a while now. What do you think is driving this interest and kind of growth and explosion in the space right now?
I think it's a couple of things. And I'd be curious to actually hear your thoughts on this too. I think during COVID in particular, a lot of people felt that they wanted to take control of their own health. And there was also a bit of a feeling that the conventional medical system had let people down in some ways. And then I think with the just increasing amount of information online and chatbots and all these sorts of things, people feel that they're more empowered to take health into their own hands. They're valuing health more. The conventional medical system is costing more and more, and people are feeling like they're not getting a lot of value out of it. And so I think, completely outside functional medicine and longevity, you see people going to these like full body MRIs like Pernuvo and to Ezra and to Function Health and to all of these different companies that are offering an alternative for people to pay out of pocket, but to actually like get more information, more control of their health, like
Totally.
CGMs and all these sorts of things. And so, but at the same time, people do want some guidance. And so like, the longevity community, the functional medicine community, these people are trained clinicians that have expertise that can offer some guidance, but live outside of that more conventional mainstream medicine.
Yeah. No, I think the totally agree with like the trends you're seeing. And I feel like the one I'd add on to that, especially why I feel like these voices in functional and in longevity have come up. I have like the books behind me here, but I think there's just now post COVID, it just hit at a great time where people were craving more expertise and information. And so there's a few great voices that I think came out that started to share more. But I think the challenge of it is there's now so many voices, and
Right.
some are credible and some are not. And so I think that the challenge of how do you sift through that information overload is really real for people right now, between all the voices that you're hearing and then all of this data that you're generating from all these different tests and sources. And I think it's an interesting now next phase of like, okay, what do you do now that you have all of this?
Yeah, and honestly, this was part of my personal frustration that led to me starting Jona. Was I would buy probiotics and it would contain this lactobacillus and this bifidobacterium, and I was like, why these, right? And like some other probiotic contains something else, and then you get like some soda that's got a probiotic in it, and you're like, well, why that one? And what do these all do? And then I got some microbiome tests for myself, and it would just give me like lists of organisms or like a gut health score of like 7 out of 10. And I was like, no,
What do you do with that?
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like let's
Yeah.
get real. Because I know that there's science out there linking your microbiome to cancer and to Parkinson's. Like, how do I sift through it all? And I think that relying on like reading the literature yourself or like some influencer or even like the best doctor out there that is an expert that means well, like they can't read 2,000 studies a month. Like that's just
Yeah.
not humanly possible. And so that's why I felt that AI was really going to be the only solution where we could actually read all of the science, credible science, and apply that to
Yeah.
interpret your results. Because otherwise, like, how do you do anything with this data? And yet at the same time, we know that your microbiome is so central to your health and so pivotal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, before Jonah, there was no way of like really understanding that.
Powerful. It seems like the whole trend in the field of like multiomics too, which I think you kind of can relate to that, but it's this, yeah, this connection between the like infinite like science that's out there that we're just starting to grasp and understand more about, and trying to turn that into actionable things that we can do, doctors can do, that patients can access. Great to have the conversation with you, Leo. Thanks so much for chatting today.
Thanks, Sunita.